Hello, everyone. My name is Ross the Alcheminiaturist, and today I want to talk about my 3D printer. It's dead. It's been dead for a couple of months, and honestly, I am kind of sick and tired of it. Basically, what's been going on is resin has been leaking no matter how hard I try, a couple of times through the screen onto the actual electronics itself and has basically caused another short circuit. This is the second time I've done and dealt with this, so I'm kind of done with it. But that leads me into this. Hi, I'm Ross the Alcheminiaturist, and let me talk to you about my 3D printer.
First things first, make sure that you always try to cut away from you. Fuck off, really? First things first, make sure that you always try to cut away from you. This will save you from accidentally cutting or stabbing yourself with a knife. And trust me, that's not a good experience. When taking everything out, it's good to make sure that you keep all of these parts and pieces of packaging together, just in case there's a problem with the printer or you may wish to transport it later. Maybe I'm just a pack rat, but I subscribe to the theory of, quote, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, end quote. That has served me really well, and the only time it ever hasn't was when I threw away an entire box of random cords. Yeah, I threw them out, and about 3 weeks later, I kid you not, I needed something from that box. Replacing it was the worst $15 I've ever spent, and at one point I was a teenager. So take from that as you will. When lifting the printer out, use two hands and gently pull it out. This thing is both delicate and expensive and should be treated as such. Next, remove the protective outer layer of plastic covering the printer. We most likely won't need this, so bin it. And then all of the foam and the rest of the contents from inside the printer, take that out too. It's pretty smart of them to just pack everything inside, since it would have been kind of useless space otherwise and the box would have been bigger. Be careful, again, how you pull everything out of the foam that it's in. Like I said before, this is kind of a delicate piece of machinery. Now for the contents of the box. We have a build plate, power cord, replacement air filter, Allen keys, a USB, a couple of scrapers, gloves, and pouring cones, as well as setup instructions, but we'll kind of just go over that here. First things first, you want to get out your power cord and plug it into a socket, as well as your printer, to make sure that everything turns on. There's nothing really worse than getting ready to print and finding your printer is dead on arrival. Have the build arm move upwards
Raise
and
it up
out
just a
of the
little bit.
way so that you can take out the resin vat easily. Underneath the vat is a protective film that you'll want to take off right now so you don't forget.
Take off your
Once
resin
that's
band.
off, you'll grab your Allen key and loosen up the build plate before putting it on and using that screw to fasten it into place. Now I tightened mine back up a little because I made it a little too loose.
Screw this. A bit more.
Now it's time to level the printer. To do so, you will want to make sure that you have a piece of printer paper on the printer and then press Tool on your printer's screen, and then Manual, and then press the Home looking button. Make sure you have that build plate loosened first, as it will need to be able to be moved by itself at this point. Once it is fully down, you will want to gently but firmly hold the build plate in place and tighten each screw, first on the side and then on the front. Once it is tightened, you will then want to press the up arrow that says 0.1 millimeter to move the plate up just ever so slightly. Then do a light pull on the printer paper. You want the printer paper to be able to move, but with a bit of resistance. If one press doesn't work, press it once more and try the pull again. Continue this until the paper is moved with a bit of resistance. Once that is done, back out of that screen on your printer and press the Set Z equals 0 button and confirm. This will tell the printer that this is where the building starts. Then go back into Manual and press the 10mm up button a couple of times to move the build plate up higher. After that, just make sure the LCD screen is working. To do so, press the exposure button and run a test. If it works, you'll see the company logo or an image or something show up on the screen. With all the checks done, you can now peel the protective film off the resin vat and add it back to the printer. Make sure that it lines up with the printer area. Usually printers have a slight dip in the size on the surface of the vat, just to make sure that you place it in the right part every time. Then screw it in. Also, make sure there isn't a protective covering on the build plate as well. And now it's time to add resin to your printer's vat. I personally use Elegoo's water washable resin, or really any washable resin, so that I don't have to worry about getting isopropyl alcohol and it evaporating on me, as I always seem to forget that it's out. Also, make sure you don't overfill your reservoir vat. There is a max fill line that I pour the resin to until it's just under, just to make sure that nothing overflows. I learned that the hard way. Once the resin is added, and you have connected the supplied USB to the printer, it's time to print a test print. Go ahead and hit the print button on the test print, and the build plate will lower. Don't be afraid or worried if your printer beeps when it gets to the bottom. It's just telling you that it's ready to start, not that it's a problem.
Much later.
And with that comes the end of the print. The printer will put it all the way up, and sometimes some of them will beep at you. And you're done. Congratulations. Thank you very much for coming to my definitely not a video for tax write-offs. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, my name is Ross the Alcheminitrist, and today I want to talk about my 3D printer. Hey everyone, my name is Ross the Alcheminitrist, and today I want to talk about my 3D... Fuck, is that everything?